Hello, 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 and welcome to the Women's Rugby Pod. I'm Johnny Hammond alongside Sarah Bern. Berner, how the devil are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Enjoying the sunshine right now in Bristol, so yeah, all good.
Yeah, April showers, isn't it? Showers and then sunshine. But it was a weekend full of rugby sunshine. See what I've done there? It was an outstanding opening weekend of the Women's Six Nations, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great. I thought there was some brilliant rugby being played, and some really exciting results. So it was a great opening weekend for well, I was going to say for England, but for women's rugby.
Quite often, your first game of the tournament, and we're going to discuss this later on, of course, but sides come, we're a bit rusty. It's the first game of the campaign and all that shit. But actually, in terms of levels of performance across the board, that is definitely a notch, if not a couple of notch up from last year's round one, right?
Yeah, you can tell just the intensity in how people were playing, what they were trying to play. The scores as well. I thought the scores were drastically different. Yeah, all in all, just I think it's a better product of rugby that professionalism is generating, and it's great to see it actually. People investing and the game stepping up as a result.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, we're absolutely delighted to have you along now because you're now a television star, of course. How did you enjoy your dressing room? I heard you had very specific demands about your dressing room.
No, not at all.
How did you find it?
I loved it. It was very daunting. I think when I first sat down in the seat and being like, so many people could watch this, and it kind of, once you get over that fear and you kind of just sit in, and the people were lovely. Like Sarah Aupkik was so lovely. Maggie was so lovely. Sonia was so lovely. Like Katie, again, played with Katie, so she's always lovely. But they just were so nice to me, and the people that are in your ear were just really, really supportive. So I felt really nice and calm, which I guess is kind of what they wanted. They didn't want me panicking. But I really enjoyed the experience. So I was very thankful for it.
No, well, I've seen a few messages out there congratulating you on a fine TV debut, and I don't say things I don't mean, Sarah. I thought you were very, very good, very natural, thoroughly enjoyed, and analytical as well, which is exactly what you are on the podcast, and that's why we've got you in, and it's brilliant. We're going to look back at last weekend. Let's just remind you of the results from last weekend. On Saturday, France beat Ireland 38-17, while Wales lost at the Cardiff Arms Park 18 points to 20. And then on Sunday, it was the reigning champions, the Red Roses, who were over in Parma. 48-0 was the score for John Mitchell's side. In a moment or two, we've got Coreen Grant, who's going to look back at that Scotland result. Fairly historic win, really. First time in 20 years they won in Wales. That's now 7 in a row victorious. It was not long ago, was it, that we were talking about Scotland not being able to buy a win? And it's amazing, isn't it? Just the freedom that they're playing with a load of W's in the results column of late. Yeah,
it's brilliant. Like we said last week, like it's going to be really close. It's going to be one of those games that were incredibly close. But for me, Scotland just came out at this different side. They looked confident. They looked fast when they had the ball. They were taking the ball up to the line, trying to play into spaces. And some of the plays that they played looked fabulous. So I was really, really excited and impressed by Scotland. Things aside of Scotland we've not really seen before. It was great to see them put out a confidence performance like that, and hopefully they'll do the same against France.
Yeah, I just, for me, it was a collective, and you often look at your heartbeat, and that's not always the captain, but I think Rachel Malcolm is the heartbeat of that side. And she's always said, and she's a wonderful, wonderful lady, on the pitch, off the pitch, in media, all the rest of it. Yeah, we can do this, we can do that. And there was emptiness behind that. And, it's not very nice to see. But collectively, we can do this. That was written for me collectively across the Scotland team. And they believed it. and that's a very different mindset to be playing in. Everything was just crisp and sharp and confident. That Coreen Grant try early on, very, very confident to take that on. Look, enough of us waffling on about it. Let's actually speak to a lady who was there right in the thick of it. Coreen Grant, the Saracens and Scotland winger, won an 8th cap, scored a 3rd try at the weekend, is now on the Women's Rugby Pod. Absolutely delighted to have one of the stars of the opening round of the Stations. Coreen Grant is on the WRP. Coreen, how are you? Sort of cloud 9 floating down from there?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Very well, thank you. Yeah, lots of smiles around camp this weekend, a lot of good feeling from last week. And yeah, excited for this weekend to roll around.
Yeah, no doubt there would have been a bit of a roller coaster of emotions. It was, it's always a tight game between you and Wales, but the first time you won there in 20 years, outstanding try. But let's fast forward to the final whistle and the sort of hours that went after that. What was that feeling like, and what were the celebrations like? More importantly, that you can tell us about.
Yeah, really fantastic feeling. As you said, a bit of a milestone for us, winning in Cardiff, and also 7th win on the bounce for us, which is really brilliant. Starting off the Six Nations that way is fantastic. So a lot of smiles afterwards. Obviously, we've got France up this week, so celebrations sadly weren't too wild, but I think, we're all really, really pleased.
And just on that, how important do you think it is to have that momentum? Like 7 games and a win is brilliant. Does that bring a lot of energy leading into this tournament? Like Six Nations is a long tournament, so how has it helped you guys so far?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great start for us. There's loads of positives from the game against Wales. Such a great result for us, but also lots of things that we can look at and build on and fix up for the next weeks coming. So it's a really good starting block for us, to be honest.
Can you sense a change that's been building? When you're in something, you probably can't see the change so much. But Berner and I were talking just before you came on and just saying, and everybody's reporting, just seem to be you winning those moments, and there's a little bit more confidence, a little bit more sharpness, a little more snap to the passes, all the rest. When you're in it, can you feel that, having built up over the WXV now and up to 7 in a row?
I think you can, to an extent. I think definitely the piece around the confidence, for sure. It is hard to kind of look at the wider picture when you're in the thick of it, and as we know, it does come thick and fast in the Six Nations. But I think there's definitely a feeling, and they say winning is a habit, and for sure, just kind of those positives keep rolling on week, and we can build on those. So yeah, definitely there is definitely a collective composure, I'd say.
Yeah, and just looking at the Wales Scotland game in particular, just some attacking stats here. You gained 200 more meters than Wales. You made 5 line breaks, a lot of them by yourself, and you beat 16 defenders. Now, for me, watching that game, I'm thinking, I thought Scotland's attack looked really exciting. Is that something you guys have been heavily focusing on? Is that something that's changed slightly from previous years? Because it looks like the stuff you're trying to do or doing, it's really, really exciting to watch.
Definitely, we want to play that exciting, dangerous attacking game. I think Matt Banahan, having come in with us in WXV, his input has been really good. He's been working a lot with us in the backs in terms of those attacking shapes, in terms of attacking momentum. And I think that's really coming to the fore in games. And yeah, we're getting fruition from it.
Oh, Matt Banahan. I mean, that's a score you got at the weekend that Matt Banahan could only dream of. He was more go over the top of people. No, what a great guy. I know he's thoroughly enjoying working with you guys. Take us through the try, Berner. One you'd be utterly proud of. What was going through the head?
Gosh, I'm not even sure. It was quite early on in the game. And I think, we talked about those first kind of few phases and just getting that accuracy really up in those. And, absolute credit to my inside players. They all did their jobs to the T and put me in a really good space. I just thought, let's try have a crack. And thankfully it came off. But yeah, absolute. Playing with the likes of Meryl Smith, MR inside me, they put me in really, really good spaces to just have a go down that outside, which is, the dream for the winger.
Yeah, but I just sense, and back to kind of Berner's point, that possibly a year ago you possibly don't have the confidence to then go, I'm going to have a go early on. And it's an incredible thing, isn't it? The mental side of sport. It was a phenomenal try. And then holding on at the end because Wales were always going to come back.
It was tight. It was very physical. But, we knew it was likely going to be a tight game. It usually is with us in Wales. So we definitely planned for that. And I think we just did very well to execute our game plan, keep that composure, and keep them out as long as we could. And yeah, thankfully ground out the win in those last 10 minutes, really.
I was going to say, looking at France then this weekend, you mentioned there was some fix-up and things you want to work on. Is there anything that you are particularly preparing for versus France? They are a big challenge in themselves. But with this really great energy that Scotland have, is it something you're looking forward to, for one? And two, is there anything that you guys have really been nailing down?
Yeah, absolutely looking forward to it. I think it's a really good opportunity for us at home. We've been talking about that momentum, the winning momentum, and I think just going up against one of the best teams in the world at home is a really good opportunity for us to test ourselves and see really where we're at. I think in terms of the French team, we know they'll bring physicality again, like the Welsh did. We know they've got that kind of jouet up their sleeve. They play that offloading game. So that's something that we've been really looking at in training. So hopefully we'll be able to shut that down.
And tell us about playing at the Hive. So some fantastic crowds there last season. Expecting the same when people are just reading the pages and Gary Heatley and all the rest of it, cooing about 7 in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. The atmosphere at the Hive is fantastic. It always is. That feeling when they start playing Loch Lomond at the start of the game it's unbelievable. And our support is always fantastic. We're hoping for, record crowds, France, England games at home. So I just think, it's such a good opportunity for us to go out there and put on a performance for that crowd. They're always behind us. So really, really excited.
The other thing that kind of strikes me, and I caught up with Brian at the launch, just really, really nice headaches. We know what a tight-knit group, family headed up by Mother Hubbard herself, the Doc, Rachel Malcolm. Is that just inspiring each and every one of you? Because like Meryl Smith had a great game, Emma Orr had one of those properly announce herself on the international stage kind of games as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think year on year we're starting to build a lot of depth, a lot of talent coming through the younger guns. So with the Celtic competition that we've got, a couple of them are coming through and really putting their hand up in camp. And, that's what we want. We want good competition. That's only going to continue to bring out the best in us and push the starters forward, the bench forward, everyone to up that skill level. So, definitely good for Brian to have those headaches and for us all to be pushing each other forward.
Do you think the Celtic Challenge, players playing in the Premiership weekly, do you think that's really helped? And obviously you guys have now contracted as well, which is great. Do you think all of that in the background is helping with your depth and just how you're performing together on the pitch?
Yeah, for sure. Having that level of competition week in, week out for us down at the Prem, it's priceless getting to play with and against the best players in the world. I think that has brought the overall level of skill up. And I think for youngsters in Scotland, having the Celtic Challenge, the opportunity to play against the Irish and the Welsh, and you've got the likes of Rona Lloyd coming back and playing in that, MRR obviously, so just more opportunities to kind of meld those connections together. Yeah, it's definitely pushing up the national team.
Brilliant. I just finally, as you go back to Sarah, you've got the bragging rights over Donna Rose and Georgia Evans and all the rest. Did you see them after the game?
Yeah, briefly. Yeah, we got hugs after the game. I definitely won't be, pulling that one out the bag because, I don't want to come up against either of those in contact training at Sarries. So I'll probably keep that one fairly low key.
Did you set goals? What is? It's a question I use quite a bit because I think it's really useful for those out there listening. That what constitutes success for Scotland, and possibly that may have just shifted slightly after the weekend.
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. I think going into this first game, we knew that would be a really important game for us. It's always close. We've come off on the wrong side of the result recently. I think that was a huge target win for us. Obviously, last October, we went to WXV2 in South Africa and came away with the trophy from that. So I think, setting our sights above that, it would be brilliant to go to Canada and WXV1 to test ourselves there. And that means coming third in Six Nations. So, that's where we're setting our sights at the moment.
Boom. You heard it here first. Corey, no doubt you've got an energy shake or a bowl of porridge or something to eat up. Matt Banahan's cracking the whip, no doubt. France at the weekend. Go enjoy that. Great to see you at the weekend. Fabulous try. Well done to you and the rest of the squad. Pleasure to meet you.
Amazing. Thank you very much for having me, guys. Lovely to chat.
I'm Gary Street, and you're listening to the Women's Rugby Pod.
Great to hear from Coreen Grant. One thing we must say, and probably remiss to ask Coreen about it, but we do hope that Sarah Bern is okay. She's had some issues with her shoulder and collarbone before, and looks like that might be the case again. But don't worry, she's in safe hands. She's been out for lunch with Amy Cockayne, so everything's fine.
Well, that'll fix it then.
They'll fix it. Get a pair of baby's Crocs or slippers on, and the world's okay. But no, look, it was a great performance. I think we've covered off most things with Coreen there. Helen Nelson, 100% off the tee. Really assured performance from her. A couple of conversions, a couple of penalties. Just wanted to get your take on your Bristol teammates and how well you thought they did. Evie Gallagher, let's start with her.
Yeah, she had some amazing stats. Brilliant game from Evie. She's very close with Kira and some of the other Welsh girls, so I thought, she might turn up at this game and this would be where she really switches on. But she's been playing really well in the whole Premiership, so I'm really not surprised. She's been building really nicely, so it makes a big difference if you're having a really nice season and you go into international, it's like, boom, you're ready to go. You're firing at all cylinders. But I was also really impressed with Merrill. I thought Merrill did really well. Merrill Smith. She is one of the players that she just puts people into really nice spaces. You don't know if she's going to kick it. She has a brilliant boot on her. She can run it. She can pass it. It just opens up a lot of options for Scotland. And I think she did really well to utilise other people around as well and get people involved in the game.
Yeah, she has that ability. We spoke about it last week. She's a threat, a three-pronged threat. With a hand, a foot, and running, kicking abilities. I also wanted to mention Alex Stewart on the open side. It was like it was her 20th cap, not her first.
I think that's good, though. It's great that you've got a player getting their first cap who is in an environment. It's obviously a very positive environment at the minute because she doesn't feel scared to try things. She's backing herself, throwing dummies in the side of the pitch, and she's taking it to Wales, and that's what you want from first caps. You want them to feel like they're in a safe environment where they can thrive and be themselves. So it just kind of shows what brilliant energy Scotland have at the minute. What the coaching team are creating is allowing these players to really step up and thrive, and you're seeing it on the pitch. They're playing with a smile on their faces, and no, it's a game of rugby, so not everything's going right all the time, but you have that energy, like it's okay, it will be okay, we'll get this, and that's kind of what I saw from Scotland watching that game.
Yeah, absolutely nailed it. The fact that she can play that well is a testament to the environment she's playing in. And I think Yeah, we spoke to Brian last week on the pod at the launch. Banahan, Coreen was talking about them. Banners clearly just got guy's got loads and loads of energy. Clearly played at the highest level, club rugby here in England and internationally as well. And Martin Haag, and they just wholesome people, and I think that makes a big difference. There's not any frills, and it's not too much spectacle. It's all about the substance with those guys, and yeah, I just delighted for them. Where do Wales go from here?
I think it's a tricky situation because it was very close for Wales. It was a close game. I think they probably would be a bit disappointed within themselves. I think normally Wales are a team that are extremely passionate and have that energy and that kind of we will not back down kind of energy. And I think Scotland beat them to it the first half of that element of the game. So I think Wales probably need to regroup, look at, okay, what can we do to keep hold of the ball? What can we do to get into the right spaces? What can we do to not just rely on our pack super heavily? I think, you know, Cecilia, like we said, brilliant ball carrier. Gwenllian, brilliant ball carrier. When they're close to the line, you know, they're going to get points on the board like they did at the weekend. So I think it's more how can they come together and really kind of bring that energy they get in the 22 and attack all the way up the pitch.
Is that a result of versus Scotland, going to WXV1, losing all of their games, being in that kind of losing type habit? Is that just a little bit convenient to just lay it like that? Because for me, when you look at that Wales team, on paper, that's an outstanding rugby team. And a team that's banging form. When you look at Cleggan and all the rest of it, Alex Callender, Celtic Challenge has been outstanding. Playing some really regular good rugby. They just look constrained. They just look like they're sort of playing within themselves. Yeah,
you know, that's a really good point. It might be that they played in Tier 1 and they lost the games, but they also played some really good rugby in that WXV Tier 1. They did look strong at points, and the game was very close. Like, their territory and possession was 50-50 on the weekend, roughly, maybe like 49-51, whatever.
Yeah, it was.
It was really, really close. And Wales did really well. They got like 7 turnovers, so they're getting the ball back. It's kind of, where does it come down to? How do they pull away? How do they continue to do well for that whole 80 minutes? And Scotland, again, you could see by talking to Coreen that the energy is there. And yeah, they've had a very successful WXV tournament. And, you know, that does fill them with confidence. And that might be why we saw that confident team go out. So it's a really interesting point. I mean, I'm not in either side of those teams, so I couldn't tell. But I would say confident is key. And if you have a team of confident players that are in an environment that they feel good and happy in, you're going to see that on the pitch. So hats off to Scotland for creating that. And I really, really am excited to watch them through the rest of this tournament.
Yeah, look, and they came up well. Tupelotti shot. I like that little tap and go. That was mostly worked. Yeah, fairly obvious, but yeah, you've got to stop it still. Alex Callender scored that try, didn't she, as they raced back in this conversion. But yeah, they're going to have to regroup and rebuild, as you say, very, very quickly, because this Six Nations keeps coming at you. But yeah, 18 points to 20 was the final score down at the Cardiff Arms Park. I know we're doing this sort of out of chronological order, but let's get into England. 48-0 in Parma. Give some match details. Sarah Beckett was yellow carded after 10 minutes. That was then went to a red card. So England were down to 14 for 70 minutes. They were down to 13, actually. Helena Rowland got a yellow card in the 68th minute as well. 10-0 at half time. Ended up, as we say, 48-0. 8 tries, 6 of those in the second half. give us your overall assessment of England, Sarah Bern.
I think for a first game, with a lot of players returning from injury that haven't played under John Mitchell and this new way that they wanted to play, I think it was a good performance. Obviously, the score is great. I think when Mo and Holly Aitchison came on, they really got England on that front foot, and you had players like Ellie Kilburn, Mackenzie Carson, people, running lovely lines off of them, and that got Italy on the back foot. I think Italy came out of the blocks firing really well. They knew that England wanted to play a fast game, and they slowed the ball down. And that totally ruined England in that first half. Not ruined, but it makes it difficult to play the game with England you normally see play. Italy managed to get 21 turnovers got the ball back off of England. So that's a really good stat. And although it's probably not always most seen like slowing the ball down as a positive way of playing, fair play for Italy to really getting stuck in there, really slowing the ball down, getting in the way, going for the jackal and the turnovers. I was impressed with how Italy came out of the blocks and how they defended the driving maul, which has been England's really big threat in the first half. Again, was really, really brilliant to see from Italy.
Do not get me wrong, in any way, shape or form. It's an 8-try victory to nil. I think that's important too. Away from home, and over Italy has been sticking for England for many occasions over there. I was just a bit after that first half, and then you trawl through it, don't you? And England had 70% territory, 28 handling errors, 21 turnovers, and even like your bankers lost 3 lineouts. And there are reasons, aren't there? It's a new system and new players and playing for a long time and all that. I just think that England would have wanted to be far more polished in that opening weekend. What will be 75% of rucks under 3 seconds. You should be doing more with the ball. You mentioned that second half and injecting. What will be top of what was top of John Mitchell's to-do list? Because you've been into camp, and I'm not expecting you to give trade secrets away. But what were the things that everybody was talking about that they need to get right this weekend ahead of a very hurting Wales team?
I think that they kind of discussed that the areas that they were trying to play in, they were the right areas. It was just that last pass. It was those soft errors that crept in. So the something is, how do we limit our soft errors? But the game plan is working, and that's something we're going to continue to work on and strive for. So we'll probably see that same exciting rugby that we got into the swing of doing in that second half. I think another thing is we were really unlucky to play the game with 14 people. No one wants to play a game like that, and poor Sarah Beckett. It's just one of those things that happens in a split second, and it's just something that England, not England, but world rugby are trying to stamp out because it did cause injury. So it's nothing malicious, but it's one of those things. Just in a second, how do you change that when you're already halfway to doing it in a minute or so? So it's hard. And then again, Helena's yellow card as well. Italy were big threats over the ball, so to just go in, it's those games where you understand why, because you've got to help protect people and you want the game to be safe. But it's another one of those things that neither one of those cards were malicious or had anything around them. It's things that were happening in the split second. It's just really unfortunate to get a yellow and a red in the same game and play the game with majority 14, then 13 players.
You feel for Sarah Beckett. She is as about as genuine as they come. Lovely, warm-hearted lady. And that's the family she comes from as well. She will be gutted. But as you say, Silla is now out of the tournament with a fractured leg, which we simply cannot have. Those aren't the images we want kids to see. The number 8 has gone down as well, but Sillery is a big loss for Italy going forward. Come on then, positives. Bottom of the try, Abby Ward. I believe it's her birthday today, Wednesday. Many happy returns. Abby, first try for England as a mum. Well done, her. It was a brilliant run from Roland, wasn't it? Marley Packer, fairly obvious. It was Marley Packer scoring try on her 100th cap. Congratulations to Marley. Ellie Kildone with a couple of tries. She looks different in a white shirt to a quarter shirt. Is that fair?
What do you mean?
Well, not aesthetically. Obviously, it's a different colour.
It's nearly the same.
It does, like her eyeshadow doesn't quite go with the white shirt as it does with the quarter. No, in terms of the style of player, I'll be frank. I think she trusts the people around her in white shirts, and I'm purely speculating. But
and the people around her are really good at putting, our edge players into space, like the people in the middle, the forwards. You get front football. You game players in the middle of the pitch. Really good at getting all our back three, as well as Ellie on the ball. And if teams are under pressure from your front line on a kick, and they're kicking the ball back as a kick receipt, you've got people in the way that she's got space to run into. She knows she's got protection if she gets tackled. So I think it's credit to all the England team, and Ellie is someone who will thrive in that space.
Yeah, Helena has got a try. Mackenzie Carson, lovely line from her, and as you say, that was England at that point were really, really trucking, weren't they? In terms of that game plan, I should say. Holly Aitchison was really, really flat, and you've got devastating ball runners. Mackenzie Carson being one of those with a great line. Connie Powell scored at the end as well. Only other person I wanted to, Abby Dow, not a huge sort of visual game. Normally she's scoring sort of worldly tries from her own try line and stuff, but just everything that she did, every single detail, I thought was world class from her at the weekend. I thought she was outstanding. She
got some brilliant tackles in there too, as well as Sadia Cabello absolutely munched a few Italians in the middle of the field, which is not nice to be on the receiving end of, but brilliant to watch. And really well done to Sadia for being back from injury and having a great game. But I'd agree. Abby Dow, she's just a world-class player. She just is a phenomenal athlete. So I'm not surprised that's what kind of game she put in.
Look, we understand that it's fairly regimented, the selections for certainly the first couple, if not three games. I think that's sort of widely known about the place. Will John Mitchell have second thoughts after that performance about the team he's selecting and want to make changes or just crack on?
I think he'll crack on. Like it's just practicing. It's practicing a new style of play. It's a lot of information behind the scenes, although it might not look like it when England are on the pitch. There's a lot of information going into the girls. And if it's something you've not played in, if you miss WXV, there's a lot of catching up to feel confident in that game plan. So I think our game plan's working. People are gonna, it's a tournament. We always build as a nation, as England. We always build throughout the tournament. So I think he'll go ahead with what he's got written down, and I think it will be a cracking game against Wales. I think it will be really good at Ashton Gate as well, in my hometown, so I can walk to it, which is great. And hopefully it's not too rainy. Hopefully there's some sunshine for the 17,000 fans that are attending.
Breaking over 18 now.
Oh, really? That's brilliant.
Yeah, little text just came through there. Over 18,000 at Ashton Gate, and that'll be a good night. What is the team for? No, I can't remember. That's not fair.
Well, it's no.
Straight down to the bookies. No, I don't think you can bet on selection, can you? But all of that said, you're back top of the table. As I say, eight tries, 6 in the second half. And yeah, a lot of positives there. It's a rugby incident to go down to 14 players. Put Sarah back in that situation again and again, another 10 times, and it's not a cock roll, and certainly doesn't have the same outcome. So, yeah, we feel for that. She has a three match ban, so Sarah Beckett won't be available. That may have changed selections somewhat. Alex Matthews in, Maddie Fairnarty, possibly to see her at 8.
Johnny, I couldn't comment.
Marley Packer. Oh, who knows? Who knows what the script is? But look how professional Sarah Bern is, because I'm properly trying to tease the answer out of her. But there we are. Look, let's move on. Let's move on over to Le Mans, where France registered a 38-17 win over Ireland. Over 15,000 watching. 2 tries from Ireland, which equalled their best ever score against France. And some of their defence at times, let's stick with the home union first, some of their defence at times was absolutely heroic.
Yeah, 100%. Was in the first 20 minutes of the game or so. France entered their 22 a considerable amount of time. And Ireland were just like, every time, no. So yeah, I was really impressed with Ireland. I think they, Scott Beeman has his more of a territory game base kind of game. So you can see them, he's chosen players that can kick, get them into the right spaces. I think the sevens girls that they brought back made a big difference to Ireland's back line. But yeah, their goal line, defense was outstanding. And I also credit to France. France played really well. They were really good at getting the ball into space. They are playing an offload style game. I think they made 22 offloads, something ridiculous.
That is correct. Yeah, 22 to Ireland's 4. Yep.
Yeah, which I thought was brilliant. However, I also think France, they did make 34 handling errors, and that did start to creep in. I think France really could have gone on the front foot. A few of those offloads didn't quite go to hand. But you can see what they're trying to do, and it's really, it's brilliant to see. It's brilliant to see. It's very, very French. That's how, France like to play. But if they get those offloads away, geez, they're going to be really, really hard to stop.
For me, it's kind of mirror of England. France, again, a lot of territory. Was that 67% territory, 57% possession? You mentioned that the offloads gives a sign to how they play. But in little patches, we could see exactly what France were trying to do, and they were very good, just like England, in tiny little patches. And when they hit that power button, and you Fall and Ménager and Hermé and these kind of players, very, very physical. When they get that going and get those arms free, 22 offloads does dictate the way that France want to play. On the other side of that, Ireland way further with a player. She was outstanding on the flank. Dalton as well, real opportunist try for her. Fowley O'Brien with some points from the boot. But Declan Danaher's come in as a defence coach, and that has clearly been an area of focus because, they just wanted to tackle everything, and that's a mindset as much as it is a physical thing, isn't it, Berner?
Yeah, mindset. To get technically right is really hard, and then to be able to have the kind of aggression and that mindset, you will not cross this line. Is something that you really have to focus on, and it's like, again, it comes to that confidence thing. If they've been practicing it, and it's a confidence thing, no wonder we saw those hits. I think for Ireland, it's going to be a real nice curve upwards, but it's still going to be hard because it's hard to do that for 80 minutes. If it's something that's new, it's something that you have been working on. It's going to take some time to build the tolerance up because it takes a lot of energy out of you to do that for 80 minutes. So France got their tries, but they had to work so hard to get it, and it could have been a lot more. So fair play to Ireland. The defensive sets that they put in and some of the hits that they put in were outstanding.
Yeah, when Pauline Bourdon-Sansus went over early on, I thought, oh no, the floodgates are slightly ajar already. But no, Ireland's defence is about as good as it's been for many a year. Menage then scored Fall, Socha, and Ruffino as well. Kiroy, the fly half, and she's going to have to be the fly half for the Six Nations. We're hearing Drouin, Caroline Drouin is out. She had knee surgery last week. So Kiroy with 4 conversions and a penalty. But Ireland will, yes, it's 38-17 loss, but they'll have a slight spring in their step bouncing into this week, won't they?
Yeah, 17. I think what was their previously last year it was 3. It was just 3 points that they managed to get against France. So to come back with 17, what a great step forward. And France are, they're a very, very hard team to play. They're a very hard team to score against. They also have a brilliant defensive system. I think Full is one of the best tacklers in the league in the championship. So yeah, I think Ireland should be really happy. Although it was a loss, it's a massive step in the right direction. And for the teams like Scotland, Wales, Italy, and England still yet to face Ireland, again, I think they're going to grow through this tournament, and it's going to be really, really exciting to see and watch.
By my calculations, my maths, which is a long way from a strong suit of mine, they scored 25 points in last year's Six Nations entirely.
Really? Well, yeah, that just shows them 17 in one game. Brilliant step forward for them.
10 against Scotland, 9 against England, 7 against Italy, 3 against France, and 5 against Wales. So, yeah, much better in terms of being able to score tries, because you're going to have to score tries now. All teams score tries. You're going to have that ability to actually get over the whitewash with at least 5, if not 7 points. And Ireland did that, opportunist try or not. They equaled that to the best ever score, and we're very good in defence. And just fair play to France again. Just turning on the style in terms of the crowd, it was a brilliant atmosphere. 15,000. We're hoping for the same at Ashton Gate this weekend.
Why don't we catch up with Rori with the rest of the news?
Thank you, Berner. This is the rest of the news from around the world with me, Rori Taylorson. The Six Nations started with a bang. Just to confirm the results. On Saturday, France beat Ireland 38-17, while Wales lost at the Cardiff Arms Park 18-20. On Sunday, out in Italy, the reigning champions England were victorious over Italy 48-0. Round 2 this weekend sees Scotland host France at the Hive Stadium in Edinburgh with a 2:15 p.m. kickoff. Then at 4:45, England take on Wales at Ashton Gate in Bristol. Finally, on Sunday, Italy travel to Ireland, the RDS Arena for that one at 3 p.m. South Africa women have begun their tour right here in Europe. First they took on Spain and won 15-13. It was not a classic, but the Bok women growled out the victory. This Saturday, they take on USA at the Ealing Trailfinders Ground. 3 p.m. kickoff, so get down there if you can. In New Zealand, Super Rugby Aupkik played out round 4 at the weekend. Chiefs Manawa continued their unbeaten run, beating the Hurricanes Poa 12-43 away from home. They have now booked themselves a place in the final with 2 rounds to spare. The Blues women came through 27-17 against the reigning champions Matatu. Round 5 this week as Matatu hosts Hurricanes Poa at 4 p.m. at the Apollo Project Stadium. That on the Friday, and on Saturday the Blues are off to Chiefs Manawa at FMG Stadium at 2:05 p.m. Over the Tasman Sea, Super Rugby W continues. Round 2 saw the Brumbies squeeze past the Melbourne Rebels, 24-22. A different story at the Churchill Park, where New South Wales Waratahs thrashed Fijiana Drua, 62-21. The Western Force made it 2 from 2 with a 24-14 win over the Queensland Reds. So at this early stage, the Waratahs and the Force start this campaign with 2 wins. The Waratahs picked up both bonus points, so had the perfect 10 points. The Rebels and the Reds yet to record wins. This week it's round 3. On Friday at the Alliance Stadium, it's a double-header, men and women's sides. 5:05 p.m. kickoff for the Waratahs women as they face the Rebels. Saturday at Churchill Park, Lakota, it's Drua facing the Force at 3:35 p.m. It's another double-header. The Brumbies travel to the Reds at 4:05 p.m. kickoff time at the Suncorp Stadium. That's all, folks. Rori Taylorson signing off.
A slightly different pace. Gary Street. We continue to raise funds for Gary and the family as he continues a long road of recovery. A lady spearheading all the fundraising efforts is a lady who organised just the first Women's World Cup alongside her 3 of her mates, Sue Dorrington. And I caught up with her a little bit earlier on just to give a final rallying call as the silent auction comes to an end. Here's Sue.
The silent auction has been a great success. We're at £17,000, and we originally had a target of 10 to 12,000. We hit that, jumped it up, and I think we'll raise over £18,000 from this silent auction. People have been just so incredible and lovely and generous, and I know that this is really helping Gary, Flip, and the boys and the Street family feeling more supported in this incredibly tough journey. We are over £65,000 on the GoFundMe page. And again, we set a target and we exceeded it, and set another target and exceeded it. And we're hoping to raise over £75,000 from the GoFundMe page. We'd like to raise over 100,000 in total from all the activity that we are implementing. And I think we'll do it. There's just incredibly generous people out there. Well, it's touched the rugby community globally. And we have a signed shirt from Richard McCaw. We've got a signed shirt from Khaleesi. The rugby family is incredible. And people have really, really come on board and jumped to the cause. We have all sorts of fantastic things happening, like auction lots that you would never be able to access in any other walk of the world. We've got holidays and gin tours and signed memorabilia and just really some really fantastic things.
And in terms of the streets themselves, you're obviously very close to Flip, Gary's wife, and the boys in constant communication. How are they? And just what is this drive to help and give a virtual hug to them from the rugby family? How much is that seeping through, as it were?
Well, I think the important thing is that Gary, Flip, and the boys feel supported, and the Street family. And we wanted to bring this all together under one heading, Streets Ahead, and do as much as we can. So I think the Streets are feeling that, they're feeling the love from the rugby community. We are all out there batting for them and raising funds to help Gary, as you know, transition from the hospital to home and to continue the much needed speech and physical therapy that he requires. So I know that Helen and Gary feel very supported and loved by the rugby community and beyond.
And the GoFundMe page, that continues to roll on through the Six Nations, does it?
Absolutely. The GoFundMe page, we have not put a deadline or an end date, because people are visiting it all the time and it's building all the time. There's no reason to close it. So we're going to keep that live and just give ourselves that opportunity of giving people the opportunity of supporting the cause and raising funds for Gary, Flip, and the family.
Brilliant. Sue, take care. Safe travels. We speak soon.
I'm Jill Burns, and you're listening to the wonderful Women's Rugby Pod.
I had to round 2 of this year's Six Nations there. Let's do it chronologically, will we, Berner? We're up at the Have Stadium in Edinburgh. Got past 2 off there for the visit of France. Ooh, where's that going? Where's that going to be won and lost?
Oh, really interesting.
Isn't it?
Scotland did really, really well to kind of preempt Lakey's kicking game. And they got really good payout from their counter-attack. It was definitely something that they have been practicing, and I think that's why they chose that backline that they did. France do have a kicking game. However, they're going to have to stop France's power and pace around the corner in the 22. Watching France, I thought they really have started to come alight in that 22 zone. The pace that they come around the corner with, the amount of forwards, you've got running at you, that's going to be something that's really hard to stop. And they also have Pauline Bourdon-Sansus, an incredible 9, who is incredibly hard to stop. She produces a brilliant, quick ball. And she will spot a hole, she's gone. So to counteract, you've got to get around the corner, but you also can't leave any spaces open because 9's off and scoring. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think Scotland will come out the blocks absolutely firing. We'll see this confident side that we've seen already. I think where it's going to be won or lost is in those high-pressured moments, in that when France are on the front foot, how are you stopping them? How are you making sure there's no holes in your defence? Because I think France are really unbelievably good at that.
Yeah, possible doubt over Lana Skeldon, who, real physicality, real sort of energy around the place there. We'll miss her if she's not available. We obviously wish her the best of luck. But yeah, that's the key for Scotland, is stopping that power game, that power button that France at times can hit. It's just not allowing them to get their hand anywhere near the button, right?
Yeah, and also if we're looking at you're looking at the game last week, their handling errors. Scotland, there's a good chance that, that's going to come down, but also that there's still going to be that jouet kind of get the ball away element. And Scotland can capitalise on that. If France are going to give them the ball back, well, Scotland, what are they going to do with it when they have it? That would be looking at, what they're going to do, turn over the ball, how are they going to play away, how are they going to find that space? Because there'll be space somewhere. It always is when there's a scramble and you don't stuff like that happens. You don't mean to. There'll be space somewhere. So I think if Scotland can figure out how to get the ball into that space on those turnover opportunities, I think it could be close. Yeah.
Go on then, prediction.
France are so hard. They have a good set piece. If they can get the set piece on point, the defence, how it is, they do a really good job of tackling and coming up when the ball's in the air. So that's how they make their brilliant shots. They cover the backfield well and they've got kicking options. I'm going to go with France this week, but that's not taking anything away from Scotland. I think Scotland will really, really put a really good fight and really show up to this game.
Evie, Merrill, I hope you heard that. I'm going Scotland.
You go to Scotland?
I
kind of want Scotland. I hope they do it because I really love their energy at the minute. But my logical kind of historic brain, I'm going to go with France.
I think you're probably right. Anyway, let's move on to Ashton Gate. 4:45. Still tickets available. It's 18,000 already sold. England will make some personnel changes, but where do England need to build on? Is it that little snapshot that we saw 3/4 away through that second half with really, really fat distributors with big power runners coming off them? Is that more of the groove that England want to get into? And how do they get into it quicker?
England will want to probably minimise their soft errors, how many times they give the ball back to Wales. We know Wales, the players that they pick in their back row at any combination, Georgia Evans, Alex Callender, Alicia Butchers, Beth Ann, just to name a few of them, all turnover queens, all of them. So we know, Italy had good pay from slowing down England's ball. We know that we've got, a team of turnover queens in their team. We know they're going to come for that breakdown. So for England, it's going to be about how do we keep the ball quick? Well, we've got to make sure that we've got good ball presentation. And we're looking after our nines well. And I think if we can keep our speed up and we don't let Wales come in too much, I think England will do a really good job, and we should hopefully see this really exciting England side. I think Wales, they'll be frustrated from last week. I think they'll probably be a bit disappointed, and they'll be looking at getting the ball, getting into that 22 and using those power plays, using those power forwards to really disrupt England, probably their line out drive as well, and their scrum. So I think Wales will go heavy on the set piece, heavy on playing in those right areas, and trying to disrupt England's ball. That's kind of what Wales are. It's a passionate game. They always come out fighting against England, and last year it was a tight first half. So I'm sure we'll see that again.
And this is why the television companies are literally fighting over her services, ladies and gentlemen, for that kind of analysis. Boom. England wrapped up, Wales wrapped up, because I'm pulling your leg, but I'm kind of not. That's outstanding analysis, and from right inside as well. Because Wales, in the nicest respectful way, and they will take it in this way, they're a horrible team to play against at times. And when you've just come off losing at home, opening round, someone you haven't done for 20 years, they are going to be horrible to start that game, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Georgia Evans, when she came on for Wales, brought that passion, she really changed the game for Wales. I feel like I can't tell if you're agreeing or disagreeing.
No, I am, because it was kind of devastating. Do you know what? She's not being on the bench, does she? She does not like being on the bench. She's
a brilliant player. I think she came on, she brought that energy, and I think everyone will have that energy this week. It's England Wales. Pretty much, it's in Bristol, right next to the border. Pretty much couldn't be any closer to Wales if they tried. So yeah, I think if they can bring that passion and they'll be up for it. They really will be up for it.
And I just think the execution, Turkey George with her boot, but just times to go. That may be the plan, but you know what? In front of me is X, Y, and Z. So let's do ABC instead. I just hope there's a little bit more of that from Wales. Prediction: home win.
Yeah.
Home win. I'm going with home win for me. Absolutely. The final game of the weekend is over the RDS, 3:00. Down there, guys. Be a great atmosphere. Italy are playing some good rugby. Ireland are playing some good rugby. Where is that going to be won and lost? Generic question, Berner.
Generic. This I actually
my
think.
Question is I don't want your answer to be generic. My question was generic.
Sorry. Italy have obviously, a couple of injuries in that Italy side. Ireland looking at that kind of territory game, getting in those right spaces. From what I've seen this weekend, this one I think this one will be really close. It will be extremely physical. I think if Ireland defend the same way that they came out and defended France like last week, and Italy do the same that they did to England, really slow down their ball, get in the way. Get on the ruck, be really hungry to turn that ball over. It's going to be interesting. I think what the biggest thing for me is going to be like, what do they do when they have the ball? So Italy, what shapes are they playing? How are they going to break down Ireland's really good defence? And likewise, Ireland, if they're getting into the right spaces, how are they going to stop Italy from getting the ball back and going for that jackal? It's going to be a tight one. And I could even say it's going to be down set piece, but I don't think it is. I think it's going to be they have both such strength in defence. It's going to be who can maintain that strength for the whole 80 minutes in their defensive systems.
Who's going to come out on top?
I don't know. What do you think? You can go first on this one.
Oh, I was asking you to give yourself some more time. Yeah, I think a couple of days ago, Monday, Ireland would have gone into camp really buzzing, because I think the performance was again had some real substance to it. You could see some real shape, not only in defence, which has clearly been a work on, and Declan Danahan is clearly doing some great work there, but also in attack, and outside of Clean Maloney, but selection is right. He's got the right people, 2 fly halves that can boot the ball. Yes, Eve Higgins in the centres, Dalton pretty good inside at 12 as well. Got a really nice back 3. Delaney real assured at the back there. Lovely wingers. I think Italy, almost like it's all too much, and it's come upon them too quickly, and the contract situation not being sorted out, and we're not quite sure the details of those contracts. The rest of it. I just think Ireland will be on more of an up. Yeah, when you're nilled, it's never nice, is it? And they were 48 nilled against 13 players at times. So I don't think it will be a heavy camp. A long-winded way of saying Ireland.
I think I'm going to go Ireland as well. I think if Ireland can, like all the things that you listed, as well as if they're kicking into the right space, they get their set piece on point, and they can get those dominant carries in that put Italy on the back foot. I think Ireland could have a very good game. Saying that, Italy can. You never know what Italy you're going to get on the day. So Italy could come out with a block, and Rigoni could have an absolutely fabulous game. So yeah, I'm going to go Ireland. But again, I think this one will probably be the closest game of the weekend.
Ooh, yeah. So only one difference. You're going for. What was our difference? I went Scotland.
You went Scotland.
You went France. Oh, I'm so silly. We both went England, both went Ireland. So we will see where that ends up. But that's about it for another week. Berner, let's remind you of those Six Nations details again. And this is purely not to get you to watch it on the television. Get down to the grounds if you can, and obviously to our global viewers, then it's a bit different. It's got bags of money and fancy flying over. But 2:15 GMT at the Hive Stadium in Edinburgh for Scotland against France. At 4:45 at Ashton Gate in Bristol. England take on Wales on Sunday. Italy travel to Ireland at the RDS. 3:00 for that one. But an old teammate of yours deserves a bit of a shout out this week, doesn't she, Berner?
Yes, Latoya Mason, my former teammate and former Red Rose, 3 World Cups, including the winning one in 2014, has been named the head coach of the Tasman Macos for the Farah Palmer Cup campaign. She takes over from Mel Bosman, who took the team to the championship semi-finals last season.
Staying down in Australasia, Wallaroo and Brumbies legend Louise Cookie Burrows calls time on her career with immediate effect. Some innings, though. First primary representative appearance was back in 1995. You were born then, were you, Berner? Since then, she has gone to 4 World Cups, and all the best to her in her next chapter. And just having a look, we mentioned our Fantasy League. If you want to get involved, look at our socials. We've got a WRP Fantasy League for the Women's Six Nations. NC, congratulations to you. 450 points in the first round. Well done, you. In second, Shan Manahan. Do we think that might be Matt Banahan in disguise? He's in second. And we've got McKenna in fourth. Do you think that's Sarah McKenna in fourth as well?
Maybe. Potentially. Who knows?
Who knows? But well done to NC. Are you on there, Berner? Not yet. Well, if you fancy it, get yourself joined up. A creditable fifth for yours truly at the moment, but Shan Manahan. I'm gonna ask him if that is him. Anyway, Berner, thank you so much. Really enjoyed your company. Are we on the telly box again this weekend?
No, not this weekend. I don't think until the end of the tournament.
Right.
No, but I'll be at the Ashton Gate doing some bits and pieces, so I'll be around. So if anyone's there, I'll say hi.
Oh, lovely. And I got a little present for you actually as well. So hopefully we'll see you there. I've got a little something for you. Welcome you in a small way to the WRP family. But thank you so much for your thoughts. Thought your telly debut was great. But you shine on the WRP. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday, everybody.